What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. Because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started. Book besties, it looks a little bit different this episode, and that is because I am so excited to start a new segment that will be on every episode before our author interviews, and this is my Millennial Minute. And in this segment, I just want to talk about things that I'm loving in the book world, books that I'm vibing with, tropes that I like, just all things in millennial for my fellow millennials, even the Gen Z and Gen Xers that are watching, and romance lovers. So, and welcome to this very first Millennial Minute segment, not second. See, I'm already just going to have to get used to this whole segment thing. And we're going to dish all things books and nostalgia. Besties, welcome to this new episode of She's All Books. I'm so excited that you're here joining me for this episode. This is going to be our very first segment that I'm introducing called Millennial Minute. This is for all of my fellow book besties who are millennials, Gen Zers, Gen Xers. You are maybe you're zillennials. I just heard that term for the first time and I'm like, oh, realized that was a thing. But welcome, and I'm so glad you're here with me, fellow romance book lovers. Welcome to our very first Millennial Minutes. We're going to dish about all things books and nostalgia. I'm your host, Jordan from She's All Books. I'm so stoked to get this kicked off with you. Let's talk about what's been living rent-free in my head this week, and that is a book that I finished called My Rules by T.L. Swan. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even realize this book was releasing, which is crazy because I am a huge T.L. Swan fan. She's one of the authors who I contribute my love to reading to. And as you all probably know, if you follow my Bookstagram page at She's All Books, loved her most recent release, which was The Bonus, and that didn't even come out that long ago. I think it was like September, maybe August, The Bonus came out. And then next thing I know, My Rules is out, and I quickly go and buy it because I was so excited and also so confused. I had no idea that she released two books so close together. And it has been giving me major He's All That vibes, which, I mean, she's all that. It was one of my favorite books. And actually, if you were watching my stories on Bookstagram this week, I asked you to play Two Truths and a Lie with me. And the three facts that I gave you were concert was Hanson. My first cassette tape was Mariah Carey. And the first movie I saw that was PG-13 in the theaters was Drive Me Crazy. Crazy was the lie. Not many people got that. She's All That. First PG-13 movie that I saw in theaters and contributes to my She's All Books name. But anyways, so My Rules by T.L. Swan was amazing. It's book number 2 in her series for the Kingston Lane series. And it is so good. The side characters are as amazing as the main characters. And it's a friends to lovers trope mainly. The main female character, she is coming from a marriage, and her neighbor, she already lives on Kingston Lane, and her neighbor is there and already into her, has been into her, waiting for her, and moment as soon as it presents itself. And his name is Blake. Her name is Rebecca, and they are chef's kiss. T.L. Swan just seriously knocked it out of the park. I listened to the majority of it on Audible. I was doing the whisper sync one, and I was just laughing so hard on my walks in the morning, and I'm pretty sure people driving by were concerned or watching me on their Ring cameras because stop laughing. And I won't give a spoiler away. I'll be really good. I don't think this will give anything away, but there's a little like side character part with Blake and some of the guys on the street who he's friends with. And they like find this romance book, and it's like it's a fae romance book with like fairies and werewolves or something. I don't know. But they start going down this whole rabbit hole of romance books and what women are reading and Kindles. And I couldn't stop rolling. I was laughing so hard. So anyways, that was just like a little side piece that was happening in the book. And T.L. Swan just always humor with spice and authenticity. Like it always just feels so real for me reading her books and really relatable. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. If you read it, I would love to know like what you thought about that book. You can leave it in the comments. I love anything T.L. Swan writes. So anyways, I just finished it. I'm currently finishing up Roommates, and that book is so good. I actually have the hardback coming soon, and it kind of gives you like an Emily in Paris vibe. So when I'm done reading that, I'll post my full review, and I'm loving it. It's a really cool concept. It's about a group of people coming to Paris to like work for rent, if that makes sense. So like they're going to work in this restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant has this like flat that she's letting them live in for free, well, for work. So like they're working to live for free in Paris. And it's been really, really good. So that'll be my next review. We'll talk about it next episode next week. But also in this Millennial Minute, I really wanted to tell you guys something I'm extremely excited about. So if you're watching this, listening to this, and you don't follow me on Bookstagram, you might want to start, because this coming up Friday, October 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I am doing an Instagram live with Jenni Bara. And I hope I'm saying her name right. That's how I've always pronounced it in my head when I've read all of her books. But I probably should find out. Maybe it's Jenni Bara. But her new book, Foul Out. Say that wrong because there's also the Fallout. The Foul Out releases October 11th. And I'm going to hop on Instagram Live, and we're going to do an entire segment of She's All Books show. Instagram Live, diving into the Foul Out, talking all things the series. I have her other books sitting right over here that are in the series. It's such a fun read. It's a baseball series. So mark your calendars. If you can join, I would be so excited to see you in the comments of the live. If you've never watched an Instagram Live before, it shows like where the stories are, like where you can see people's stories at the top of your Instagram page. And you would just like click on it. It'll like show me glowing. And I think it might even say live at the bottom. And we're going to be on, and she is game. I asked her, I said, do you want to do it like my style, or do you want me to just do like a normal Q&A? And he was like, I'm down for whatever. So of course we're gonna do a She's All Books style deep dive into the Foul Out, which releases that same day. So if you can join, I would be so excited, because I am not gonna lie, I'm nervous. I get really nervous about lives since these episodes are pre-recorded. I'm used to that. But if you I would be so excited, and say hi in the comments. It'll make me super happy and excited that you came over to the live and watched it. If you're not able to make it because you have plans or you're not really into Instagram lives, I'm gonna record it and save it, and I'm hoping to upload it to the pod as an episode. So we'll see if that works out. I'm hoping it does. But regardless, it'll be saved as a recording on my Instagram for you to watch whenever you want. But I'm really excited. If you've never read a Jenni Bara book, you would absolutely love them. They're so good. She's such a talented writer. I had the awesome opportunity to meet her at Readers Take Denver and buy some books and get some signed from her, and so sweet. So I'm really excited and thankful to Handbright PR who set this up so we can do this Instagram Live together on October 11th. So Friday at 9 p.m. if you're able to join. Just a little blurb about the book that we're going to be talking about with Jenni. It's Kyle Bosco is a total jock who's about as smooth as dial-up internet. He's working at a daycare to fix his reputation and ends up crushing on single mom Harper Wallace. enemies to lovers book. Yes. And if you think like romance mixed with sports, mixed with like that's what you're gonna get. Plus, if you know me, there's an autism spectrum disorder, ASD, autism rep in this book, which is something that's very, very close and dear to my heart. So I was very excited to see that before I dove into the book, because I really, really appreciate when authors like do a great job incorporating that trope in a book. So anyways, I'm here for it. I hope you're here for it. I'm excited. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. So there's that for the Instagram Live on Friday. And before I wrap up this first Millennial Minute segment, I have to give a major shout out to my Hype Squad. I created a Hype Squad because I just know that word of mouth and those listeners of the podcast are the best ones to spread the word. And so I have the best Hype Squad, like honest to goodness. They make me so excited and so happy every single, like I'm getting tagged in posts, they're commenting, they're sharing, they're hyping up the authors of the episode each week. So I just have to give a major shout out to them. They are seriously the wind beneath my wings with this. And I try to make it fun. I hope that they're having fun. We do weekly giveaways in the group. And so I'm always trying to think of fun, creative things to give them, make it fun, make it exciting, because they really are just a huge part of the She's All Books pod. So I appreciate you guys. You're amazing. You bring me so much joy, and I just can't say enough. So I can't wait to hear what you all think also about this Millennial Minute segment. So that's all for this Millennial Minute segment. And I'm going to always get this tongue tied, so I'm going to practice like all the time. Stay tuned now for our author interview as promised, and we will be playing Paper Fortune Teller and some fun nostalgia games. You are going to love her. Her name is Jennifer, and she's amazing. And you're gonna hop right over and buy her books. So anyways, I will see you next time. Enjoy this episode of She's All Books. Bye. Here with me today is author Jennifer J. Williams. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I am so excited to connect readers with you and your books. We're going to dive all in. I have so many questions ready for you. But before we get started, I've started asking authors at the beginning of episodes if they want to give their little elevator pitch, just a very broad overview of the books that they currently have published. You don't have to go into depth on any of them. We're going to dive really deep into them with the questions. But just for those readers who might not be totally familiar with your work, they'll have a little bit of background knowledge before we really dive into the questions. Do you mind giving the audience a little overview?
Sure. I write spicy contemporary with a focus on small town, and I really kind of focus on sass and banter, and most of my characters are a little older, so this is not YA, this is not college or anything in the early 20s. My characters range from 26 to 45. And so I kind of view them as being very scrappy and sassy and determined characters.
I'm so excited to dive in. But we were chatting a little bit before we started recording, and I was letting Jennifer know that, ironically, my friend Jen, who's in my book club, has been recommending Jennifer's books to me for quite some time, because she knows how much I am obsessed with good banter and sassy characters. Like, I love strong female characters, but my weakness is good banter, and that's how she keeps bringing up your name. And I'm like, it's happening. It's at the top of my TBR. So I can't wait to dive in, and then I'll be posting and annoying you constantly on Instagram as I'm reading the books. So this is going to be fun for me, fun for the viewers who have read these books. I want you guys to leave us comments. Let us know which books are your favorite by Jennifer J. Williams, why they're your favorite. And then for those readers who are watching or listening to this episode, I want you to let us know which books that Jennifer chats about sounds like something you're going to add to your TBR. So let's keep those comments going as you're watching, and I'm ready to dive in. Jennifer, are you up for a nostalgic game of Paper Fortune Teller?
Yeah, absolutely.
So for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, I use a Paper Fortune Teller just to guide our questions. This is not the classic way of playing Paper Fortune Teller where you're asking it a question and you want it to give you an answer. We're going to use these numbers 1 through 8 to correspond with questions that I have for Jennifer J. Williams. So we will dive in, and your color options are yellow, orange, pink, or green.
Green.
Green. All right. GREEN. And your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6. Hard to see on the screen.
6.
All right. Question number 6. All right. Before we dive into all of the book questions, this is perfect because I would love to know, and I'm sure the readers and listeners who are familiar with you, maybe not, would love to know, what are 3 things that readers might not know?
Oh, okay. Let's see. Really random things that have nothing to do with authoring whatsoever. I've never broken a bone. Apparently that was shocking.
I think I've ever met who can say that.
Never broken a bone. Let's see. Horrifyingly scared of spiders. I had hermit crabs as pets growing up.
Oh, very nice. I love that. So I have a couple follow-up questions to that, some sub-questions. Well, one, totally with you with the spiders. This interview might end early if I see one and I have to burn the house down. But the last one, the hermit crabs, did you grow up in Colorado or were you No. So for me, where I'm at, like hermit crabs, I'm kind of close-ish to the beach. So all the beach shops have them, but like, can you buy just hermit crabs at like a PetSmart?
Yeah, you can. But I grew up in Ohio, but we had family in Florida and all along the coast. And so we vacationed quite a bit, and I fell in love with hermit crabs and convinced my parents to let me bring some home. So my hermit crabs even went to college with me.
Wow. So last question, that's a follow-up. I'm getting all sorts of extra questions in here. I'm fascinated by this. Also terrified my kids are going to want hermit crabs because I don't know how to care for them. But what is like the longest like lifespan that you can remember?
They're not very long.
No.
They're not very long. And I will fully admit that as a child, I didn't do the best for caring for them.
Yes.
But yeah, they don't live very long. A few
You went
years
through
maybe.
a lot of hermit crabs.
Yeah.
Love it. That is awesome. I just remember like always seeing them on the beach and loving that. My parents never let me take one home, but jealous of that for you. Well, that's probably one of the coolest facts anyone shared with me on my show. I love it. All right. Well, the coolest one was somebody on my show mentioned how they kissed Mr. Freddie Prinze over here in high school.
Shut up.
Interview over.
Wow.
Yours is number 2. It's going to be really hard for somebody to top Freddie Prinze.
I can't beat kissing.
It's hard.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
I should
no way.
retire the question, but I'm glad I didn't retire the question because that was so worth it. I'm excited. Okay. Well, I feel like I need to put like hermit crabs on all the promos for this episode. Pink, yellow, green, or orange?
I will do yellow.
Yellow. All right. IELLOW. 1, 2, 5, or 6 again, but you already did 6, so no 6.
Okay, so 2.
2. All right. Question number 2. What are your favorite tropes to read, and what are your favorite tropes to write? Sometimes those are the same, sometimes they are not the same. So what are your favorite tropes to read, and what are your favorite tropes to write?
They are pretty similar, I would say, for me. I love writing Grumpy Sunshine. It is just I love, especially, it's kind of that he hates everyone except for her kind of mentality. And so it's just, to me, it's nice to kind of watch a grump slowly grow and find some more happiness and get a different personality out there. And so that's like one of my favorites to write. I also love Brother's Best Friend, but how I tend to write them is the brother is much more accepting than you read. You read a lot of like, I hate you, I can't believe you did this, you know, and all that. I kind of, mine are much more, we're all adults and my sister's an adult. I'm not going to, you know, yell at you, blah, blah, blah. And then for reading, one of my favorite things to read is Surprise Pregnancy.
Me too. Me too. And you know, that's a when I say controversial, I'm not talking like real controversy, but that is like one that readers, I should say, like are split on. Like you either love it, or you do not want anything to do with it. It's a very divisive a trope, which for me it's like just a fave. Like I get so excited. So do you have any surprise pregnancy books in your series, the Eternity
I do.
Forever? Okay.
The Forever series, Forever Hours, is book 3 in the series, and that is Surprise Pregnancy. And it's kind of unique because it is a couple who've known each other for 15 to 20 years, and they have always kind of liked each other, but they're more frenemies to lovers is what I like to call it, because they're not quite enemies, but they just butt heads quite a bit. And so then they have a series of one night stands, and it's not that first one, so it's not like you meet and have a one night stand with the coach of the team that you're now working for, that kind of thing. It's a unique situation. And then I'm currently writing a surprise pregnancy story. So there will be a book in this series.
Current work in progress. So now I'm even more excited to get to that when we get there. That's awesome. Okay, so so we have surprise pregnancy tropes in some of your books. Do we have you mentioned frenemies to lovers. What are some other tropes that readers can look forward to in your books?
I have written most everything so far. I have the only one I haven't really touched on yet is Second Chance, and that's coming up in a future book. But I have what?
I love Second Chance. I also think it's like a little divisive. My top 3 tropes are surprise pregnancy, and then second chances, and then the last one is definitely divisive, which is miscommunication. Do you have any miscommunication tropes?
No, because I hate that one. I hate it.
So many people do. So many people do.
Yeah,
but life is communication, and everyone's like, and we're trying to get away from that when we read.
Yes, and that's a lot of my reviews. I try not to read my reviews, but when somebody will tag me in one, I do read it. And a lot of them will say, I like how they were adult and they talked. This wasn't a miscommunication trope. So I don't really put that in.
Banter. You have all that great banter, and so they don't have any miscommunication.
Yeah, I would rather there be another reason why there's the cause of a breakup or a separation of some kind in the book. But I tend to not even have the third act breakup. It's going to be suspenseful in other ways instead of there being a massive, I hate when you get to the 80% mark in a book and you're like, okay, they're happy. What's going to happen?
I feel like that's like a very popular formula too. And I'm the same way. I start to get like that anxiety as I'm approaching 80%. And I'm like, oh, it's the 80% curse. Something's going to happen. And then I'm going to have like this tiny sliver of like, everything's okay at the end. And that's always hard. But it keeps you hooked. It keeps you hooked. It keeps you reading. So
absolutely.
I'm excited for all of those tropes. And I forgive you for not writing a miscommunication trope. That's fine.
Thank you.
You have my other two. All right.
I'll keep it in mind for a future book. I don't know. We'll see.
It can be just the smallest of miscommunications, like, oh, she ordered burger no cheese and he got her a burger with cheese. That could be the miscommunication. You can check it off your list.
Okay.
All right. Orange, yellow, pink, or green?
Orange.
Orange. All right. Orange. 3, 4, 7, or 8?
7.
7, a new cluster of numbers. Okay, so your series, your Forever series, is 6 books, correct? And it was your debut series. Can you tell the readers a little bit about how that series is connected, book to book? Is it an interconnected series? Are they friends? Do you mind sharing a little bit more about that with the listeners and viewers?
Sure. Yeah, it is an interconnected standalone series, so you can start anywhere in the series. It helps to start with the first book because 7 out of the 12 characters are introduced in the first book. So it does kind of help to follow along, but you don't have to. I try to summarize as much as I can in the first couple of chapters of each book. And it takes place in a fictional Colorado town that's right at the base of the Rocky Mountains. What I know.
Yeah.
But it is a group of friends that are all in their 30s that have kind of not necessarily sworn off love, but for one reason or another are single. And one girl moves from Oklahoma to Colorado to get a new job and to get away from a bad relationship, and kind of starts all of these relationships intersecting when she kind of comes in and joins their group.
Oh, I love that. What is her name?
Her name is Emily, and she's book 1.
Awesome. All right, so I love interconnected series because I feel like you get the best of both worlds. Like I used to love the series that followed the same couple because I was never willing to say goodbye. But in the interconnected series, you get little cameos sometimes of some of your favorite characters, and to see that they're still doing okay and they're still together, and a little tiny like pop in. So if you're, like you said, you don't have to necessarily read it in order, but it does give you a little bit of like bonus extra like feels when you're reading, and obviously some background knowledge that maybe is a little bit more detailed than the wrap, but like how authors do such a great job at like catching you up at the beginning of books and everything. But it's the best of both worlds, and that way sometimes like a reader might choose to jump in at like a trope in a book that they know that they'll like, and it might not be the first book, but interconnected series, all that to say,
yes, I do. I really like it, and I like the fact that since my second series is an extension of the first series, I can even pull in those characters into this series. So the book that just came out a couple weeks ago, there's a whole chapter with a couple from the first series. So it was really neat to go back, and I reread the book and found little details that I had forgotten about because it's so many books ago. And so that was really fun to do.
That is awesome. I love that. Perfect. All right. So pink, yellow, orange, or green?
Pink.
Pink. All right. PINK. 3, 4, 7, or 8, but not 7.
8.
8. All right. Well, that backs us right up to my question for you about the Eternity series, which also is 6 books, correct? Yeah. And can you tell us, or will it spoil? And it's okay if the answer is no, I can't tell you it's going to spoil, but can you tell us how the Eternity series is connected with the Forever series? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not spoiling anything. The characters in book 5 of the Forever series, his name is Matt. He is cousins with the family of the Eternity series. So we were introduced briefly to some of the characters in his book, and then in the 6th book of the Forever series, we were introduced to more. And so that's Matt just came back in this last release to show up with his family and whatnot. But So the Eternity series is a different Colorado town and a family who runs a kind of like a quaint but more upscale hotel, but not like a massive hotel.
Okay.
So it's in the mountains, so they have hot springs and they're really known for that, and their spa. And they kind of are the big ticket item of this little touristy town in the mountains.
I love that. Okay, that's so exciting. So what is the book that just released a few weeks ago? What is the title of that?
It is Worth the Vow.
Worth the Vow.
Yes.
Oh,
So it's a marriage of convenience, grumpy sunshine, single dad nanny book.
single dad. Okay, I forgot to mention that. I'm such a mood reader. There's like not many tropes that I'm like over. In fact, I can't think of any. But yes, I love a single dad right now. That's not. I'm happily married, but the tropes. Yes,
I get it. Totally get it. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Orange, green, yellow, or pink?
Green.
Green. All right. Green. Oh my goodness. Now we're just on a kick with 3, 4, 7, or 8. So no 7 or 8. 3 or 4.
Okay. Do 3.
This is, like I said, not the traditional way of playing this game, but it's okay. I'm excited to hear your answer for this one because you have 12 books published, or do you have more than 12?
No, I have 9 full lengths. So my Eternity series will be 6 books, but I've just released 3 so far. And then I have 2 novellas.
Okay.
And a handful of extra pieces that most do kind of occur in the same world.
Nice. Okay, so you have a lot of male characters that you've written. My question for you, question number 3, is what is your ideal book boyfriend and characteristics? So if you had to describe your ideal book boyfriend, I feel like I had to change it from who is your favorite book boyfriend because everyone's like, I can't choose a favorite. But could you describe the characteristics of your ideal book boyfriend?
Oh my goodness. And I think I could have picked one easier than I could just
Okay, well then tell us who's your favorite.
Here, I will show you because
Yes.
this cover is freaking gorgeous. This is my favorite.
Mine too now. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
now I will say that my the cover designer for this created him. He's not all one guy, so don't get all excited. He isn't real.
Not like it has Instagram or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
It's like one body, one neck, one head. I don't know. She got really creative with Photoshop. But he is the oldest character I've written. He's 45, and his patience is just, he is so incredibly patient with everybody, and especially the heroine. She is brash and loud and doesn't really have a filter all the time, and he just is like, okay, well, that's who she is, and I love her for it. And he's also Brazilian, and so he speaks in Portuguese to her all the time, and so it's just sexy as hell.
Oh my God, I love him already.
So yeah, but I just love how he's patient, and he kind of became the papa bear of all of the characters in the group. There are multiple characters who went to him for advice, and he just became the voice of reason for everybody. And so that's what I really loved, that he came out of that story.
I love that. Is that story an age gap story or? Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is. It's not too bad of an age gap. He's 45 and she's 34.
Okay.
I am frankly too old to write 20-year-old. I can't get in the mind frame of that.
Right.
So I felt like it was a much more acceptable age gap. So the biggest age gap I've written has been 11 years. I've now written it twice, and I just don't think I'm going to go much beyond that. Maybe 12 or 13 years, but definitely not a 20-year age gap.
Right.
Is somewhat popular.
And when you have a 20-year age gap, you are writing at least one young character. And I'm the same. now that I'm in my late 30s, like I don't even really relate to the young, like right out of college. I'll still read those characters and also love those books, but I love a character in their 30s, or even if it's like flashback and forths, like, when you might pop into them when they're in college, but like now they're like in their 30s. Like it's easier to relate to. And I do love when characters are at least in their 30s. But I'll read anything.
Yeah.
I'll even read.
Well, yeah. And I think I think there are some authors that I think do exceptionally well at writing the college kids or young 20s.
Yes.
And a lot of them have kids that age.
Yes.
And so they kind of can run things by them. Well, my oldest is 15.
Right.
And he has pretty profound special needs. And so I can't necessarily go to him and say,
right.
What do you think about this? He's going to be looking at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk about this with you either.
I can totally relate. Both of my kids are special needs, so I right there with you. Well, I am gonna read Forever Mine, so I can't. Maybe that's where I'll start, and I'll just break all the rules.
Well, no, you gotta do the third book because that's the surprise pregnancy.
Yes. I mean, I'm just gonna read all of your books, but I'm just trying to decide where to start. Okay. Green, pink, yellow, or orange?
Orange.
All right. Orange. Oh my goodness. 3, 4, 7, or 8, but all you have left is 4. Would you like to answer question number 4?
Sure.
Question number 4. What is your writing style when you're writing your books? What is your approach to writing?
I don't really have an approach. It's I'm sure you've heard the terms plotter or pantser or plantster. Yes. Yeah. So plotter, everybody, you've got everything planned. Pantser, you're just going by the seat of your pants and hoping for a good story. And plantser is somebody who at least has some kind of outline, but they still are winging it. I am very much in the winging it category. Other than the main tropes that I know I want to hit, I don't have like a plot of different scenes or different acts that I want to do. And so it just is very much whatever strikes my fancy at that time when I'm writing. And some days I can go all day and knock out 10,000 words. And other times I'm forcing myself to write just a slight amount. So yeah, it's very chaotic, which is pretty much on brand for me. So
yeah. I love that. And I have a sub question for that. So I'm going to try to sneak in another bonus question here. And it's a new question that a reader submitted, and I've been obsessed with it ever since. Do you have a favorite snack or a favorite drink you like to enjoy when you're writing? Like a common one that you are always going to?
Okay. No. Well, okay. I do not drink coffee or tea very often. And so my drink of choice during the day is going to be a soda of some kind, or if you're from the Midwest, it's pop. I can't, forget to call it pop for the, those that are from my area of growing up. So I drink any kind of caffeinated soda beverage. And then at night, I love flavored water. So it can be something that I've purchased or just, like Crystal Light or something like that. But my big thing is I have a nugget ice maker. And so I swear to God, all of the drinks taste better with the good ice. The little itty bitty Sonic ice.
Okay.
It's so good. It's like
trust you and buy one.
Yeah. Yes, they're so good. I do not regret it. So
okay.
Yeah, and then for snacks, it's very much as women, I'm sure you experience this too, but it's you never quite know what you're going to crave at any time. And so I'm sitting here with the last piece of a Snickers peanut butter bar that I no longer wanted after I ate a piece, and now I have to wait until it strikes my fancy again. Yeah. So yeah.
always going back and forth between like the salty and sweet, depending on my
Yes.
mood. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Well, very nice. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love to hear this, and I feel like I need to start like I did for a bit there. I posted one, actually, it was a one-time bit there. I posted some authors' drinks that they've shared with me are like their favorites. And I did like a pick your next read by the beverage. And I got a lot of people liked that because they would connect with like favorite drinks of whatever they were drinking. And then one person I asked,
Yeah.
like, what is your favorite drink? And I'm really close to her, so if she watches this, she'll laugh. But she responded and she was like, a water with lime. And so like I put water with lime for hers, and she's like, now I sound so lame. I didn't know that's what it was for. I was like, oh, well, you're hydrated when all of us who are drinking the coffee.
Yeah, I'm drinking chemicals. You're drinking water. It's cool.
Right now, my go-to drink is a Coke Zero with, have you ever had True Lime? Like the packets of True Lime, they're like dehydrated lime. And oh my gosh, that combo, it's addicting. I don't know if you're a Coke or Pepsi fan.
Yeah, no, I should try that because I will do anything with Coke.
You are warned, because I was already a soda fiend before that. And now I'm just like, I think it's just running through me as all soda.
Yes, yeah. My husband knows, like, there's certain times he can look at me and he will not talk to me until I've started drinking a Coke because he's like,
yep,
she needs that hit of caffeine before she's going to be even remotely human. So, and I've had people say, how can you drink a Coke in the morning? I'm like, you're drinking more caffeine than I am.
Yeah,
like
it's caffeine. Yeah.
Yes.
My husband's like, how can you drink a Coke and then go right to sleep? And I was like, I also, it takes
I can't do that. I can't do that at all.
Up all night. Like if he drinks it past a certain time, I'll drink one and go right to sleep. He's like, how do you do it? I'm like, I think my body requires a lot of caffeine at this point. A lot more.
Yes, you're living on it. Your blood is like, no, we need it.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh, that's just one of our vitamins. No big deal. Yellow, orange, green, or pink?
Green.
I should start asking people, are you a Coke or a Pepsi fan?
There you go.
GREEN. And we're back in the other cluster, 1, 2, 5, or 6, but you only have one, or I have to write down what you've already chosen. You already have one, only have 1 and 5 left.
5.
All right. If I can get that out of my mouth. Question number 5 is a question I love to talk about. And so this is a selfish question on my part, but what do you love about the book community? And I know you do a lot of events. You were at Readers Take Denver when I was there as well. What is your favorite part of the book community?
I think finding people who like the same things I like, that is just empowering in a sense, and it makes me realize that I'm not alone in what I'm drawn to. And it's just so amazing to watch. Even just, I walked around at Readers Take Denver and watched women just be, jumping up and down because they're so excited. They just met Rebecca Yarros, or they met Amy Dowles, or Dawes.
I think you did it right the first time, and I never knew how to pronounce it until recently. I heard somebody pronounce it just like that, so I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so it was really neat to see people get super duper excited about meeting their authors and getting to meet people maybe you've only interacted with online.
Yes.
And meeting them in person. That's how the majority of the people that were with me, helping me at Readers Take Denver, I hadn't met yet. And so that was so cool to meet them in person and get to see their personalities. It was really neat.
I agree. It's fun, and it's so interesting how through similar like passions and hobbies and interests, like you can grow such a deep relationship with folks that you've never really met in person, and then you meet, and it's like, wow, like you just like really jive and hit it off, and it's such a fun, supportive community of at least in the romance world, mainly women, and it's fun to be there and to all like support each other. It's been fun. I love that. All right, yellow, orange, green, or pink? All right, Pink. And we're going to have to fed because you only have one left. And so we're going to pretend you landed on it. Would you like to answer question number 1?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. All right, question number 1. What are you currently working on? So what is your current work in progress? If you can tell us. If you can't, that's okay.
My current work in progress is a widowed single dad who has a one-night stand with his sister's best friend.
Yeah, that is exciting and sounds right up my alley as well. Do we have like an estimated season of when this might release? Like I know that editing processes take time and things shift and timelines change.
Yeah.
But are we thinking like 2025 for this release?
My goal is actually December.
Okay.
I'm on a pretty quick release schedule, so I try to release about every 4 months.
Okay.
So we'll see how much I can write this month is what's going to determine if it doesn't come out until January.
That is so exciting. So maybe it'll be like a fun holiday read for some of us. That's exciting.
Yeah, could be. Yes.
Do you know the title yet for this one or no?
Yes, it's called Worth the Test.
Worth the Test. I love it. Very exciting.
Yes, so
those are so beautiful.
The male main character is really, really struggling with feelings of guilt after his wife passed away and raising his children alone. And then this not young thing. She's younger than him, but not age gap younger.
Okay.
But she comes in and she's the opposite of his wife. And so he really struggles with how much she tests him and how he connects to her all the same. And he really struggles with just how to compartmentalize all of those feelings.
Wow. I love that. That sounds awesome. I always I am not an author, so I'm saying this all purely blindly because I have no idea really what it would be like. But I would think it would be hard writing something with grief in it because you are kind of going through the emotions and the feelings that your characters are going through because you're living it out. Like you're experiencing it for the first time as you're writing it. We get to experience it for our first time reading it. But I would think that would be hard. Like you would mentally, that would be like putting you in a little bit of a lower, state of mind.
Yeah, this one has been somewhat cathartic for me in one way, but I've cried multiple times writing it, and I've never done that before in any of the books that I've written. But I think, my biggest fear is twofold. It's either my children dying,
Right.
or my husband dying, or me dying and leaving them alone. And so having to deal with kind of both sides of that is incredibly challenging and very emotional.
You're facing your fears, like
yeah,
in this world. Yes, yeah. That's hard. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like that's a lot of our fears, which I think is what moves me so much when I read books similar to that and anything with grief in it, especially when it's like a parent who's passing and, because you have to like face some of those things that you have anxieties about. But it's so worth it because you get to ride along with the characters and feel all those emotions with the characters. It's a roller coaster.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. I just was telling someone that I felt like the book that just came out was kind of chaotic with a lot of drama and a lot of action and all these things. And I said, I think I got that all out of the way because this upcoming book is going to be mostly emotions. And it's just going to be a lot of how he has to struggle through all of this and get past these emotions and the guilt that he feels in order to find his PGA.
So that just shows what a dynamic author you are, that you have books that are able to range so differently. And like you said, you have a book that just released that's pretty chaotic, and then this one's a little bit more steady, and that's just so impressive. So when readers and those who are watching and listening see this, you get to really read books from an author that have all those variants and all those different qualities to it instead of sometimes when you're reading a book from an author and they have multiple books out, they kind of stick with the same vibe and you kind of learn like that person's equation. I don't know what
Yeah.
like
Yes.
their process, their method. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like you're not going to read a Chantal Tessier book and not assume that there's going to be something just outlandish and so out there. So
exactly. And I will read all of her books, but Catherine Cowell's, like I kind of know what I'm getting into when I start the book. It's very they all have like very similar characteristics and I know what I'm up for. But I love being surprised. I love reading books that show like all these different, I don't know, different pieces of the writing and pieces of style. So that's exciting. So I can't wait to see what viewers and listeners take away from those questions and find to be up their alley, because we all have different preferences when we're reading, and we all certain things stand out to some people that might not have stood out to me that you mentioned. So I can't wait to see the comments. I can't wait to see which of the books or the tropes or the series that readers and the listeners of this episode are going to gravitate towards. So definitely leave those comments so that we can see them. I'm gonna make a paper fortune teller tell me what book to start with, because now at this point I'm like, do I just start at book 1? Maybe I do. I don't know.
Book 1 is a single dad, I will say that. So
that just made it a lot easier for me, and then I'll just go right through. So thank you for playing paper fortune teller with me. That's always selfishly so nostalgic and fun. So I appreciate you entertaining me with that. For this second segment of this episode is your turn to choose a nostalgic game to play. We'll add a little bit of a bookish twist to it. And your options are MASH, Two Truths and a Lie, Never Have I Ever, or Truth or Dare. So all a little bit of a nostalgic game.
I'll go with Never Have I Ever.
Never Have I Ever. Awesome. All right. So I will give my little spiel on at least how I remember playing Never Have I Ever when I was in college. That's when I played it. And like, when did I play that? Definitely college with some beverages.
That's when I learned about it too.
Not playing this in grade school. And we'll do 3 fingers because it can go back and forth for a while. And as we're learning each other and we're newly forming a relationship, it makes it harder instead of like, you know, friends who you've known forever and you can easily get out with a Never Have I Ever. So we'll do 3 fingers instead of 5. And for those watching, if you're not familiar with Never Have I Ever, the goal is to be the last person remaining who still has at least 1 finger up. So we hold our fingers up and I would say something I've never done, hoping maybe Jennifer has done that thing and she'd have to put a finger down. So if you're listening and to this episode while you're commuting to work and you're not watching this on video, I will do my best to narrate when somebody puts a finger down so you can follow along with our progress throughout this game. But we'll kind of keep it bookish related, like in very, very broad bookish related, like never have I ever returned a late library book, which would be a lie if I said that, but it can be all over the place. Anything we've talked about, obviously, fair game. Yeah. Do you want to take a couple seconds to think of some, or do you just want to like wing it?
Just wing it. Wing it. This is how I write. Just wing it.
We're gonna pants it. And I'm like trying so hard to get those terms down. You're my guest. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to say one first?
You can say one first. You're the host.
All right. I will. Okay. Never have I ever read a 1-star, a book that you deem 1 star, because I know it is subjective. No. Okay. So we both still have I didn't put our finger out. We're good at picking the books we're reading. We know what we like. So we both still have 3 fingers up.
Well, and I think part of the problem is too, now that I'm an author, I see how much of it goes into on the author side. And so I find it even hard to rate something 2 stars because I know, And also I know just how horrifying it is to get a 2-star review.
Yeah.
And I know how horrifying it is to get a 1-star review, unfortunately. So I am very conscious of that. And so pretty much the lowest I will give someone is a 3.
This is a divisive topic. And somebody talking about this on TikTok one day, and somebody reported my video and took it down. So if you're watching this, reading is subjective. You can read books however you want. I personally have not given below a 5-star review in like over a year because if I read a book and I like it, I don't know how to distinguish between a 4 and a 5. For me, consistently, I don't know how. I honestly, personally wish you read a book and you go on and you thumbs up it if you love it, and there's not even a thumbs down. You just like, if you like it, you give it a thumbs up because yeah, I like that book, I'd read it. Yeah, I would tell somebody to read it. Like it just gets so complicated. So don't report this video from me saying that. Everyone can do it. It's beautiful. I love how you review your books, whoever you are. If I love a book, if I'm reading it and I love it enough to do a review for it, because I put some time into my like edits, it's a 5-star review. Like, I don't know. I am not a critic, so yeah, I'm right there with you. I've never, that was honest, I've never given a 1-star. I've never read a book that I felt was 1 star either. So yes, and I know they exist. All right.
Never have I ever started and finished 2 books in the same day, the same 24-hour period.
I think I have. I have. I'm pretty sure I have binged a series pretty hard where it might have been like at the last minute of the last hour of the night, but probably within that same day. Yes, I think I've done that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm in the lead.
Yes. All right. So I only have 2 fingers remaining. Jennifer has all of her fingers still up. I'm trying to think now. I gotta get you a finger down without doing any low blows. I'll save those for the end. Let's see. Never have I ever stayed up all night reading a book.
Put your finger down. Put your finger down. There's no way.
I swear, I have always at least slept an hour or 2.
Oh, that is semantics. My goodness.
All night. So the whole way I got started with reading and reviewing books like this and to Bookstagram is because my daughter, who has a sleep disorder that's associated with autism, or common at least with a lot of kiddos who have autism, she went through years of just like not sleeping. Like it was just like we would be lucky to get like a solid 3-hour stretch of sleep at night. And I didn't want to turn a TV on because that's not going to help promote sleep. And so I would just read and read and read. And then I was like, you know what? Like I'm going to start posting like the reviews that pop up at the end of reading. So yes, I have spent many long nights reading books, but I have squeaked in a couple hours of sleep. I stand by it. All right, two fingers for me, 2 fingers for Jennifer. We are tied.
Let's see. Now I got to break out the big guns because we're tied. And the horrible thing is, because I'm such an avid reader, I have to think about ones that I'm not going to have to put my own finger down for.
Hard. That's why I only do 3 fingers for this, because trust me, it started as 5 and it went on for a very long time. We have a lot in common, more in common than we know.
Yes, I have 2 children, and they are all both special needs as well, by the way. Okay. I'm really trying to think. Keep coming up with ones, but I'm going to have to put my own finger down if I do it. And I'm looking at like all the books on my desk to try to see if anything gives me a great idea. Let's see. Okay. Never have I ever contacted my local library to ask them to carry a book that I wanted, just to go and get it immediately.
Okay, so I have done that, and I just did that recently for the first time. And then an author friend of mine was like doing this whole like, if you're on her team and you can get her book in a library, like something. I did not win it. My library did not do it. But I did try my hardest, and I reached out to the library, which I've never done before. I am a chronic turn your library book in later. So I reached out and I didn't even get a response, but I'm going to keep trying. Thank you for reminding me. But yes,
Glad I can give you that reminder.
I've done before. Yes. I should ask. My sister's a librarian, and if I were smart, I would have asked her for tips on how to get the book in the library. I'm going to text her later. All right. So I only have one finger remaining. Jennifer has two. Okay, this is getting hard. Okay. Might be a low blow. I'm taking a guess here, though. I don't know this for certain. I'm pretty sure. I have never have I ever written a character based off of somebody I know.
That's not normal. You can put your finger down. You're not.
And so the low blows start to come out. The easy ones, the cheating ones. But it's not cheating. I'm guessing. Okay.
Yes,
We both
yes,
have one
absolutely.
finger.
Well, I just did a review, or I just did an interview, and somebody asked this most recent release, who are my characters based off of? And as I was thinking about it, I realized they're based off my husband and I. And so it just was kind of comical that I was like, oh, this is, very close to home how, and it explains why the male character was very difficult for me to write, because he is as stubborn as my husband is.
That is so funny. I feel like that probably makes the best writing because, like, you live it, you know it. It's your everyday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're tied.
Oh, shoot.
1 and 1.
It's my turn. Okay. All right.
Acting a low blow as well.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. I think I'm going to end up losing just because I'm going to unintentionally say something that takes me down too. Or do we tie as losers?
We can totally tie as losers. It'd be a first for me, but I love that.
This is really difficult on finding something that would not take me out too, because every single one I think that's a good one, and then I'm like, nope, I would lose too. You know what? Screw it. We'll just, if I lose, I lose. Never have I ever gotten unbelievably aggravated when an online order for a book arrives and the size does not match up with the series that I already have.
Big pet peeve of mine. Yes, they need to match. So we both put our finger down. We both just lost. We're both big loser heads. But I can't say I need the additions to match. I need and I'm having a hard time right now. Ironic that you said that, because one of my favorite duets I've read recently is the Binding 13, Saving 13, which is high school, so it's young. But there is a new cover that Barnes & Noble is doing. It's like a special edition. Have you seen it? And it has like a 90s Y2K vibe to the inside with like the fake library card in it and stuff. And I'm like, I want this so bad, but there's no mention of book 2 having this special limited edition cover. So I'm like, what do I do? Like, I feel like I need it. But then I won't have a matching one for it because I don't know what they're going to do about the second book. So I'm in a dilemma. This was today's dilemma.
Yes, I also have the same thing because one of my favorite authors is Claire Kingsley.
Yes.
And she had her current series signing exclusives were hardcovers of her first 2 books in this series. Well, she's releasing book 3 in 10 days, and there's no mention of if it's going to be a match or not. And I'm just like, if this doesn't match, I'm going to lose my mind because it's a current series.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, I can't. If
No.
I will have to give up the other 2 because I cannot have them be awkward.
Exactly.
It's a hardcover. What if she doesn't offer hardcovers? So please,
that's even harder to
by
find.
chance. You're watching this video.
Yes.
Do a hardcover, please.
Please do a hardcover. It's hard. I have gone to the point of ordering books from the UK to get the covers that I want, that like when an author switches to a new cover, maybe they sign with somebody or whatever, and they're not finishing the series out in the original, but like one author I found in particular did finish it in the UK but couldn't finish it like that in the US. I was ordering the books from there to come here.
I commend you for the drive to get the matching set. I totally would do the same thing.
This series, the Magnolia Park series, the original covers, like I love them, and I was like, they all have to be that way. And she's still working on a couple, and I will fly to London if I have to, and I will get the rest of them in that cover. And I don't know, it's a thing. It's a thing, and we're not the only ones. This is a common thing among book lovers. So I'm actually curious if you're watching this or listening to this. Are you this way? Do you have to have all of your covers match? I mean, I'd be shocked if you say no, but just let us know. Or maybe you're just an e-reader and you don't care at all about the paperbacks, which I understand that as well. But if you collect paperbacks or hardbacks, do you have to have them all match? Because I do.
I actually had another author had purchased all of my books, and then I got a voice message, and she was like, do you not realize that they're different sizes? And then like she just went on and on about how they were different, and then she finally went, you must know this, right? Why am I leaving this message? And I was like, I know, I chose to do this one bigger, but it's not the same series, it's a different series.
Yes,
so that is better, I think.
Yeah. But you won't do us wrong, and you won't switch covers completely halfway through the Eternity series and then screw us over. So thank you.
Yeah, no. As long as nothing happens to the only thing I can say that does happen when things can be different is if a cover designer decides to not do covers anymore or can't fit a cover in, then you're working with a new designer who's going to try to match it as well as she can, but it's not perfect. So then it's out of your control, kind of out of our hands.
If that happens.
Yeah,
we'll hold it against her. No, I'm kidding.
Yep, right. That I support that.
Exactly.
Gotta have a scapegoat somewhere.
I love us both being the sore losers. That was perfect ending to that. I'm gonna have to use that move in the future. Thank you so much for playing that with me. Thank you for being on this episode. I had such a great time. I appreciate you letting me sneak in all those extra questions that I just slid under the rug into those paper fortune teller bigger questions. I threw in some sub questions, so thank you for answering all of those. Please let the viewers and listeners know where they can find you on social media and where they can find your books.
On pretty much every social platform out there. I have Facebook. I also have a Facebook reader group. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. So I'm pretty much everywhere. I also have a website, authorjenniferjwilliams.com, and you can email me there if need be. And my email directly is jennifer@authorjenniferjwilliams.com. And all of my books are exclusive to KDP, Amazon, and are all on Kindle Unlimited.
Awesome. Very nice. All right. And I will make sure to drop the links in the caption so that our viewers and listeners can just click and quickly find your books and your social media accounts. So make sure you check out the captions if you're watching this episode. Thank you again for joining me today. I hope that you'll come back in the future as more books are released. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
To see what you have next. We'll have to maybe we can do like a group filming of this with some author friends that you have, and we can make it a party.
That'd be wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
In an hour. But yes, that was so much fun. So thank you for joining me. And until next time, have a great night. That's a wrap on this episode of She's All Books. Bye. All right, book besties, that's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya!